Dear and friends, today we will be presenting one different aspect between GT, Transformational Generative Grammar by Chomsky, and SFG, Systemic Functional Grammar by Holiday. Let's get started.
The first topic is about transformative generative grammar. Next, it is a system of language analysis that recognize the relationship among the various elements of a sentence and among the possible sentence of a language and uses process or rule. Some of these are called transformations to express these relationships. Next, transformational generative grammar focuses on deep structures of imperative sentence by implementing phrase structures rule and transformational rule. The research shows there are variations of imperative structures reflected by transformational rule and use emerging surface structures. The results also indicated that subject is the main focus of imperative sentence and play important role in forming imperative sentence. It can be inferred that different subjects may form different transformational forms which involve different transformational rules. The transformational generative grammar provides the lower structures of the sentence. It's called deep structures. The deep structures will give us descriptions about the subject of the sentence.
Next, I'm going to discuss about deep structure and surface structure. Each sentence of any natural language has both a surface structure, which gives the form of the sentence as it is used in communication, and deep structure, which gives the meaning of the sentence. Deep structures are grammatical abstractions that underlie real sentences. A set of artificial rules called surface structure rules generate deep structures, while another set of artificial rules termed transformation rules convert deep structures to surface structures. The theory deals with transformation of sentences. For instance, an active sentence can be changed to a passive one, while a simple declarative sentence can be changed to a question through the of transformations, and these transformations follow linguistic rules.
Next, here are the examples of the structural relation transformational generative sentences in 3 diagrams. And next, before we take a look at this table, so before we make the sentences into like the terminal string, we need to make the sentence into like kernel sentence. And here are the first rule. The first rule is like a passive transformational rule to form a passive construction of sentence. And next, to form a questions, we must use the affix hopping rules in order to form a well-formed sentence or questions. And the last one is M rules. M rules used to generate the actual pronunciation of each syntactic unit by combining verb with the affixes to form a construction.
So this is my part. What is systemic functional grammar? SFG. Next, please. So, systemic functional grammar is a linguistic theory which is dominated by a social semiotic approach. That is, language is a part of sociological study, and it is believed that the study of language needs to include other dimensions such as situational and cultural context. To explain, this theory is not only focusing on language structure, syntax, but also on language usage, pragmatic and discourse analysis. In addition, systemic functional grammar can analyze any real-world utterance. So there are 3 functions in this theory, which is called meta function in SFG. It consists of ideational, interpersonal, and textual meta functions. All ideational meta functions involve the formation of idea that these meta functions suggest the language helps individuals to construct and interpret their experience. There are 2 types in this meta function, experiential and logical. For experiential, uses a process of transitivity to explore a speaker's impression. So for logical involves interpreting experience as chain, such as elaboration and exemplification. Next, all interpersonal metafunction involves the interaction between speakers and listeners. This metafunction suggests that language helps individuals express their interactions and complex relations with others in a society. The last one is textual metafunction, involves text creation. This metafunction helps speakers construct texts that are relevant to a specific situation.
Here are the examples of systemic functional grammar sentence. So the clause is the bouquet is given to Nancy by Ken. So the clause is divided into like 3 metafunction. The first one is ideational metafunction, interpersonal metafunction, and the last one is textual metafunction. The first one, the bouquet, is classified into participants. Is given is the process, to Nancy, circumstances, by Ken, circumstances. And next, interpersonal. The subject is the bouquet, and the verb here is divided into 2 types. Is divided into finite verb, and the main verb is the predicator, which is the verb given. And the complement as the verb need a direct object. So to Nancy is the direct object of the given, which is the complement of the sentence. And next is the adjunct by Ken. Next, mode and residue. Mode includes the subject and finite, which is the bouquet and is. And next is the residue. The residue includes the predicator, complement, and adjunct, which is the verb given to Nancy and by Ken. And the last one is the textual metafunction. As they appear like in the order, the first one is the theme and the next is the rhyme. So the theme is the element that serves as the point of message or the main message. So here is the unmarked one, which means that they appear as grammatical subjects or logical subjects. And the rhyme is the part where the theme is developed. So next, the clause, the bouquet is given to Nancy by Ken. Here is divided into 4 groups as like a nominal group, verb, verbal group, and prepositional group, and the prepositional by Ken here. So the one, the bouquet form into a nominal group, divided into 2 elements, which is the determiners and the things, which is the noun. And next is given. Here form into a verbal group, divided into 2 elements, which is the final verbs, auxiliary verbs, and the main verb here is the given. And next, to Nancy. Here form into a prepositional group, divided into parts, which is preposition and the complement. And by Ken as well, form into a prepositional group, which is divided into 2 elements, which is the preposition and the complement. And next.
Thank you, Patinya. Next, I'm going to discuss about the 1 different aspect between transformational generative grammar and systemic functional grammar. For the constructions in transformational generative grammar called phrases. On the other hand, systemic functional grammar called groups. Left side are constructions of transformational generative grammar, and the right side are constructions of systemic functional grammar. So, noun phrase called nominal group, verb phrase called verbal group, prepositional phrase called prepositional group, adjective phrase called adjectival group, and the last one, adverb phrase called adverbial group.
All right, thank you, Sudarat. Now let's see, there is a sentence here. A sentence, Ken gives a bouquet to Nancy. Here for the GT, Ken and the bouquet. These 2 are now phrases. and the verb of the sentence, which is give, to give something, this will be called verb phrase, and the preposition to Nancy here is prepositional phrase. But SFG here, as you can see, the name has been changed from noun phrase to nominal group, verb phrase to verbal group, and the prepositional phrase will be changed to prepositional group. All right, let's go to next slide, please. Okay, now let's see the internal elements of each group. Now let's start from noun phrase in TG or nominal group in SFG theory. The beautiful girl at the corner. As you can see here, the constituent which has noun as its head. As you can see here, girl in the circle, this is called head noun in the TG group. And what comes before it will be called pre-modifier. What comes after it will be called post-modifier. And as you can see here, the determiner, they are still mentioned the same in these two theories. But for SFG, the head now, the head of this construct, the head of this constituent will be called thing. And what comes before it will be called modifier. And what's come after it will be called qualifier. Next one, please. Now let's see the verb. Here you can see she has been speaking to me. Has been speaking here is the element which is the verb. It starts from the main verb and separated into auxiliary and the verb. The verb is what contain can contain the meaning, which is called verb in TG. But what comes before it is auxiliary, which is divided into have and ed, it and being, as you can see here. But for SFG, comes after the main, the one that carry meaning. The first one that change its form will be called finite and auxiliaries, and what come after it is auxiliaries, as you can see, and the one that carry the meaning is called predicator. All right, next one, please. And here, prepositional phrase or prepositional group. Here, as you can see, the girl at the corner, as you can see, at here is a preposition, which is the same in these two, but what's come after it, which is required by the head here. The corner is a complement in TG, but for the SFG theory, it can be called complement or it can be called completive. This is a reference, mainly all the information we find and we find is in the English textbook, semantic textbook. Thank you for listening.